everybody, how's it going? So this is the end of week 4, technically the end of week 5, I'll get into that in a second, of my time here in Seattle at the Flatiron School's Data Science Bootcamp. Yes, I did get a haircut. You might have also just heard thunder. So I'm actually recording this at the end of week 5. My family came to visit me at the end of week 4, and spending time with them was more important than trying to get some vlog work done, in my opinion. And then week 5 turned out to be crazy busy because of the shortened week. It was Labor Day, that first Monday, the Monday of week 5, so everything got crammed into the rest of the week. So I just didn't have time to do anything. I didn't even work out for all of week 5, which was weird. Yeah. So right now, it's actually thunderstorming and raining like pretty hard outside. So I have my nice mic on the RX0 and they're aimed outside so I can try to record some of the audio, maybe layer it in here. I thought it was pretty exciting to be caught in the rain here. I just walked down to dinner and really liked the idea of walking in the rain because I haven't seen so much different weather being from California. And then it started lightning pretty much everywhere and I had to run back inside. Yeah, so just like in my previous videos, I'm gonna show you some of my favorite photos from week 3. And I'll start with, I had mentioned going down to the waterfront and getting reflections of the Great Wheel and the waves. And I whittled down the few hundred photos I got and ended up with this one with my favorite as the with this one as my favorite from the bunch. I felt like there's just enough water reflection of the wheel so you can actually see the ring shape, and it was repeated and somewhat abstracted and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like this one. Do I like it enough to put it in my portfolio? To be honest, probably not. I'm really just including it because I like the idea of it. I liked the result. I think I'm okay with, but I can't help but feel that I could do it better. So I'm definitely going back there to try to photograph it again. I'm not sure what I could do differently, but I feel like there's something I can do to make it better. And I'm including this because it's a reminder of like everything's a process and trying to see where something's good and see where it could possibly be great. Yeah, so my actual favorite photo from week 3, I actually don't remember if I showed it in the video last week or 2 weeks ago. And it actually requires some explanation. So you know those posters that get like put up on lampposts, and power poles and community boards? So here, for some reason, no one ever seems to take down the older posters. So people just kind of stack them up on top of each other like crazy. And I personally think that it's like Seattle's, it's a physical metaphor for Seattle's passive aggressivism. It's almost as if taking down an older poster might offend somebody, so nobody does it. And instead they just put what they think is more important in front. So yeah, and in Capitol Hill, where I normally walk every morning, I had seen some holes that the layers of the posters looked really apparent if you got up close to it. So I think I got some weird looks on the day that I got this photo. I had like knelt down and put my stuff down on the ground, and I was getting like up close and personal with this lamppost and getting pictures of these layers. But I think it's pretty cool, and that's all I really care about. When my family was here, my mom actually made a comment, completely unprovoked. I didn't say anything. She had noticed the layers of the posters, and she said that she wanted a picture. She was like, wow, these look really cool, and I can't believe like nobody takes these posters down. So yeah, I don't remember if she actually got a photo for herself, but I used my real camera, so she doesn't have an iPhone photo. Yeah. Let me know what you think of either of these photos I've selected, especially other photographers. Do you have a running subject series that you're working on? Like for me, I like bicycles, umbrellas, just like every photographer, and I try to keep those in mind whenever I go out to get photos. for the Flatiron Data Science Bootcamp, week 4 was mostly database administrative stuff. So we spent a lot of time playing in SQL. We did some stuff with APIs, and I want to say some stuff because it seems like APIs are really dependent on the company that is providing them. So the initial one we played with was NASA's ISS locator, which is pretty cool, but it was really simple. Like, you call it and it gives you latitude, longitude, and a timestamp. Not much you can do with that. Yeah, and then later on we were playing with it's a fan-made Star Wars API. That was actually pretty cool. I realize how nerdy that sounds when I say a Star Wars API is really cool, but I really liked it as a Star Wars fan. It was cool because there's actually, like, I think 6 different database tables included in the API, and even with just those 6, when we played with it, we realized how complicated a relatively simple thing can become. I'm not saying Star Wars is complicated, or I'm not saying Star Wars is simple, because it's definitely not. There's a lot of history and lore. You gotta go to Wikipedia, spend some time there, have some fun. I am a huge Star Wars nerd. Yeah, and then we also did some web scraping with Beautiful Soup, and then we barely touched on MongoDB. So the conclusion we got from Beautiful Soup and web scraping is that this is pretty much a last-ditch way to get data, so that was why they didn't really spend so much time teaching it. MongoDB, I have some mixed feelings about how they taught MongoDB, to be honest. SQL definitely seems to be better, a more reliable way to store data, but Mongo seems to be extremely popular now, and popularity is rising. I just read an article the other day that I think Heroku is like dying out and MongoDB is taking over. So I would probably want to spend even more time with Mongo, but that's not stuff we can change right now, and also feel like I could learn it for myself now that they've introduced us to it. In terms of coding stuff, for SQL, we spent a lot of time with it, but I personally thought SQL is really easy. So it has like English syntax almost, like select stuff from whatever, given whatever restrictions you have. It made total sense to me, but it's definitely one of those that you need to practice it a lot to keep your skills sharp, and also make sure that you can efficiently and effectively do a bunch of selections. So our instructor said, I'm gonna send you guys weekly problems so you can keep those SQL skills ready, and definitely something I appreciate. In our pre-work, we were supposed to do SQL, and we did it for I did it for 2 days. Felt like it was really easy to understand, and then when I got here, I was like, I don't remember SQL anymore. So yeah, in 2 months, I completely forgot how to use it. And for this coding stuff, I keep talking about summaries from every week, but I don't know if that's really all that helpful for people to see. I've been kind of thinking about this for maybe a week and a half now, and I brought it up with my brother Brian. I was thinking maybe doing a streaming thing where either say YouTube Live or Twitch or Mixer, and just like, hey, let's go on Kaggle, we'll just get one of these competition things and then work on it for a bit, see what happens, and see if we have any fun with it. The couple times we've used Kaggle data, it's been pretty cool. Felt like I learned a lot by playing with those things. So if you'd be interested in seeing like a code along, or like a photo edit along, or a travel planning along, let me know in the comments, send me a message or something. Let me know if that's a good idea, or if there's anything in particular that you'd like to check out. Remember, I'm not an expert at this stuff, so if we do a stream, you'll have to bear with me. Yeah, and then for fun exploring this week, I didn't do too much new stuff. So one of the weird things I did was I didn't know that there's a band that was going to perform in Pike Place Market, and I ended up walking through right before they're about to play. So it was pretty interesting. It was the Head and the Heart, and it was interesting because the police closed off a bunch of First Street and they closed up Pike, and it was kind of cool to walk around the streets without any cars, but I did feel like really old because Pike Place was packed, like really packed, and they're all there to hear and see a band that I had honestly never heard of before. And I was just like, oh, cool. This is a great idea for a venue. I'm glad all of you here are going to enjoy it. I gotta get out of here because I have no idea who these people are. Yeah, and then for photos, I had mentioned before that there's this like little sidewalk cafe that I thought was really cool looking, and it was always busy whenever I walked by. Turns out it's called Monorail Espresso, and I got this, in my opinion, pretty cool cropped panorama from there, from the other side of the street. And that day I did cross the street and I did finally get espresso from there, and it was very good. So I am looking forward to getting more photos from there and also more coffee from there. Especially if people bring umbrellas and rain gear. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That'd be a cool photo subject. Yeah, other than that, I mostly went back to my usual haunts, so Pike Place a few times. Waterfront. The Skyview Observatory. One of my visits to Pike Place, it did rain, and I got, in my what I think are cool reflections and like a cool moody feel to the photos. They do look very postcardy, but I still like them, and you can see them here. And I think I actually used one for the thumbnail for this video. So yeah, the last place I checked out was the Dr. Jose Rizval Bridge and Park. Those places are pretty popular with photographers in this area, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really get it. Yeah, I went, and for photographers, I can kind of understand because it's a reliable place where you can get like light trail photography. Because there's a lot of, when you're on the bridge, you're over a bunch of highways and you can see a bunch of cars. So if you've got a long exposure, you're getting light trails, the roads are all curvy, it does look kind of cool. But when I went, I felt like in the darkness it makes a lot of negative space and there's not a whole lot of going on. And I think more in the park, the cool view I wanted to see, I felt like would be better with an elevated platform. So next time I'm gonna bring my drone. But in terms of the view itself, I felt like nothing about the skyline actually said it was Seattle. So I didn't think it was that great of a view. And also, frankly, area around there is not that great. There's a shelter that's not too close, there's a shelter that's not too far from that bridge. And it was kind of sketchy going in, like passing by it when I was walking by. And then when I was getting photos, I saw these like police lights over there. And when I counted up how many, I was like, I'm not walking by there again. I don't know what's going on. I got on a bus and we drove through, and there were 10 squad cars responding to something there. In addition to the fact that the park at night, like when I got there, no other people were in the park except for some pretty sketchy people. So I was there for like maybe 5 minutes before sundown, and then I walked out of the park and went to the bridge. So Not a great area, so not a place I'm really looking forward to go to again, but I'm kind of curious about getting that drone shot from there. But yeah, I'm not sure why that place is recommended as like a very good view of Seattle. I feel like there's definitely better. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, that was week 4. For the end of week 4, my family comes to visit, and it's going to be Labor Day weekend and also PAX weekend. So for next video, which I'm probably going to record some tomorrow, you get to see some of that, and I'll talk about what happened during week 5, which was mostly finishing up the database administration and then starting to do some statistics and probability. Those two things are things I am not very good at, so I'm really hoping that Flatiron can help me be much better / less shy about doing statistics and probability, because it was honestly not something I could have wrapped my head around before, and I tended to get frustrated doing that stuff earlier. So yeah, all right. If you like this video, you know what to do. Like it. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike. I don't really care. If you have any suggestions or have any comments, feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear. And if you think this would be helpful for other people, feel free to share it with them, especially if we can help each other learn a code or learn a photograph or explore this area. If you like my stuff and you want to see more, please consider subscribing. I got a lot of stuff on the docket for the future, so this light is actually new, and I got it about a week and a half ago, and it's in multiple pieces, and I'm only using one, so I definitely am going to do a review on this because I like this quite a bit already. Yeah, and then I want to review the gimbal and my RX0, and I still got the EOS R review, and I got to finish the wedding photos, so there's a lot of stuff in the docket. If you want to see all that stuff, do subscribe so you can see that when a new video is up. All right, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.